Hi everyone, my name is Rodrigo Andrade, Senior Product Manager for Data and AI in IBM. Thank you for joining. Welcome to this session. I really appreciate you taking the time to participate. I have been working with AI for more than 15 years and I have never seen so much excitement as we are seeing now with all these agents and generative AI technologies, but how it will really affect, how it will impact BI. So that's the main topic of our conversation today. Let's start. The first thing we need to set what is happening today, right? So the decision makers are struggling when they need to extract real information from the data. I have been working with data and AI for a long time, as I said before. And in IBM, we have Cognos Analytics, for example, for decades. So we know a lot of companies, we know business partners, we know the real BI users, and we know that the business user, when they need something, they need a new information, they need to wait for help. So they need to ask something to the data steward, to the data analyst, and the data analyst, the data steward will need to verify first if they have this information. If they don't, they need to collect this information, clean, prepare the data. So it's a long time waiting for this information until it goes to the hands of a business users. And more than that, the data analyst sometimes they doesn't know how the business user wants this information. So sometimes the dashboard or the report has a lot of information that is necessary, or sometimes it's so simple that can't answer what the business user wants to answer. A second stage of this chain is when the business users train themselves. So they can be specialists in BI solutions, but that's not what they really want. The business user just want to ask something and receive a straightforward answer, or an answer that can facilitate a decision, right? And the third stage of this chain is they can act without any data. They simply give up of wait for the information and they act only based on what they trust. And we know that we have some statistics that are showing that the market of BI is changing. So Gartner says, for example, that 6% of the existing dashboards will be replaced by generative AI-powered narrative and visualization by 2028. This is a really impactful number, right? So we are saying that all the work that we have today in BI will be replaced by AI interaction, by AI narrative. This is really important. And we have other two numbers here that are also important. 50% of business decisions will be augmented or automated by AI by 2027, and 40% of organizations see lack of explainability as a major risk in generative AI adoption. And what the market is doing with this information, with these trends, we are seeing that a lot of BI solutions, a lot of BI players are adding what we call self-service experience. So they started to automate things, to use AI to create some simple narratives, but this is not enough, right? Because we saw that all this automation thing is only adding power to the technical user, to users that are already trained in BI or analytics. The real business user, the business user that doesn't have any knowledge about BI, is still struggling. So we need more than that, right? We know that this is not about create more dashboard. Doesn't matter if I have a solution that can help me to create more dashboard. This is not what we are talking about here. We need something to bring value and bring faster answers to a BI question. So to summarize, in my view, we have three different waves in business intelligence. The first wave is the one that we have just simple descriptive analytics, where the output is really static and we have a lot of technical limitations. This is the most simple one. The second wave is when we start to have forecast, we start to have some predictive analytics inserted in our BI solutions. And we started to have dashboards. Many players started to create beautiful, wonderful dashboards to show the data. And we start that, as I said before, the self-service experience, this first phase of the self-service experience. But now we are in a different part. We are in what we call agentic analytics wave. And I know that everybody's talking about agent, and I know that sometimes it seems silly, but the idea behind that is really powerful. With the agent analytics, we are really augmented decision making, and we are also allowing a real collaboration between agents, so between people, between agents and people. I will talk more about that in this presentation. But before that, I really need to set some expectations here, because AI and generative AI is not a magical bullet, right? This is really important to say, because many people think that with the powerful LLMs that we have today, you really don't need to do anything. We just need to provide what you want as input to the LLM and wait for the magic that happens. And of course, if you provide a flat file like an Excel file or an Excel spreadsheet as an input to a strong LLM, it can generate solid analytical insights for sure. The data is already structured with clear column names, so the model has everything it needs to perform well. But in the real world, it's a different story. Enterprise deal with complex data environment, multiple tables, intricate joins, and inconsistent semantics across different data sources. In that context, good results don't come from LLM alone. They need context. And that's exactly what I'm trying to show here. We need a semantic layer. We have the raw data. We can bring beautiful conversational experience, but we need to trust in the answers that we are receiving. This is not a simple RAG experience, right? We are not just retrieving information based on nothing. We need a real semantic layer that will bring the context that our business needs. So the context that LLM needs to consider when bring us some answer. So what is the semantic layer? I will explain better in a minute. I just want to also introduce Watson X BI. This is a product in IBM that I have been working since the beginning. I was the employee zero in this product, and it brings everything that I'm talking about. So it provides natural language interaction. It provides explainability, so you can see everything that the AI is doing behind the scenes. And it brings a robust semantic layer. And last but not least, you can embed this agent in your own applications or in your own agent chain, right? Because you don't need ask to the user access BI solution UI, BI solution dashboard. You can have just, for example, your own assistant in your own application, some orchestrator. And if you ask something that is a BI solution, this orchestrator can send the question to Watson X BI and receive an answer based on a semantic layer, based on something that you can trust. So you can allow also a collaborative work, because after receive this BI answer, you can take some action, like write an email or call someone or anything else that you can do with other agents. So you can allow collaborative work between agents as well. So before show you it in action and how it's happening today, let me just clarify what I meant with the semantic layer. The semantic layer is where we are preparing all the data to be used by AI. And we have 4 stages. The first stage is you need to provide to the data steward a place and an easy way to connect to data source. So this is the more basic one. Then we are using AI to also enrich the data. And if you are a data steward, you know that the manual work today is really insane. You need to manually add context to your data, create metadata. And now we can use AI, we can use generative AI to automatically expand this metadata, to automatically create business terms, to explain to AI what your data is about. So you are creating descriptions, for example, for each table, for each column. So during the chat experience, AI will know which data needs to be used in that particular question. Then the third is to create and share. This is the modeling experience here. In the traditional way, the data steward has a really hard manual work to model everything. And with generative AI, we can now create these metrics, this modeling experience using AI. So you can automatically create the metrics, the joins, the relationships that will be used by the chat experience. And then we are using this governance and trustful metrics to really answer real business users' questions. So now that I explained what is behind, I know that this conversation is really technical, so I try to be more didactic. But now let me show what is the real impact in that AI is bringing to business intelligence. This is the business user experience. I will use as an example Watson XBI because Watson XBI is the product that I haven't been working the last year. So the first thing is, if you are not using your own application UI, if you are using Watson XBI UI, you have some suggested questions that AI is suggesting for your particular user that can be interesting for your user. You have all your old conversations, and you also have metrics that are interesting for your user. So here are some charts, some metrics that are interesting for me as a user to monitor, to keep an eye on. So this is also something that I can click. I have a natural language explanation. I have some suggested questions specifically about this metric. So AI is giving me what is the most important things to my user. And how about the question? So I can ask something really simple like, what is the best performing product category in the first semester of 2025? When I ask that, Watson XBI will use that semantic layer that I mentioned before and get information there to map to the right assets, to understand, okay, to answer this question, I need to use this data source that I have in my semantic layer. And then it will bring the answer with a chart in this case and also a natural language explanation. So let's take a look at the answer, right? We have a chart and the chart is answering to my question. I ask, what is the best performing product category in the first semester of 2025? It will bring not only the best one, but also a list that is showing all the main categories and how each one is positioned. And it's also bring to me a natural language explanation. So I'm seeing here that the best performing product category in the first semester of 2025 is mortgage, with the highest total sales. The data shows a clear ranking of product categories by the total sales, with mortgage leading. So I have also an explanation that will facilitate things to me. Me as a business user will have a better vision and really fast. I don't need to read a report or a dashboard or anything about that. So this is the reality today. This is how the agents can impact a business intelligence world. I can even pin this chart to my carousel, and then I will start to follow as a metric. I will start to monitor this thing. So it will be available to me with natural language explanation as well. So you can see that I just need to ask something that I want to know. I don't need to know where the data lives, in which data source, or in which column, which table. I just want to ask something and receive a straightforward answer. Let's give another example. Now I will ask which region contributed the most to mortgage sales in the first semester period. So, and now again, I did a follow-up question, and I'm receiving clear information about each region, how each region is positioning when we're talking about mortgage sales. And I have a clear answer to me. Southwest region is the most important one. And a natural language explanation saying that the Southwest region contributed the most to mortgage sales in the first half of 2025. I also bring the number, and I can always share this content. This is also important. If I want to share this information with anyone in my company, I can share that information really easily here. So it's also contributing to the information arrives faster to anyone that needs this information. Now I will ask, okay, let me continue. What is the top performing branch in this region, in the Southwest region? And again, the agent will bring the information to me. Really straightforward. I don't need to look for different reports, for different dashboards. I just ask something and receive an answer. Note that it's approach that is completely different from the traditional BI approach, where you open a report and you analyze that report, you spend some time trying to figure out what you need. Here, it's a different persona. You can, as a business user, just ask a natural language question and receive an answer. This is the basic difference. And all these questions are based on the semantic layer. No question will be based on LLM general knowledge. So this is also important. You are bringing something that you can trust. And I can always see the AI steps, so it's important to be transparent with the user. So I can click in the AI steps, I can see the asset that was used to answer my question, how the question was interpreted. I can see the calculations. I can see even the query. If you are a more technical user, you can see the SQL query that was used. So you can validate the answer. You can confirm the answer. Note that I'm asked about performing, and it's the answer was based on sales. I can just say I meant top performing by satisfaction score, not by sales. And the agent will understand that it's a follow-up question and will bring the right answer to me. So note that you don't need to be a specialist. You just need to be curious about your data, ask questions, and receive answers. And the most important thing is we are not adding risks to the company, because we're not talking about the general knowledge LLM. We are talking about answers that you can trust based on a governed and a robust semantic layer. A semantic layer that the company's data team prepare to be published and to be available to all the users across the company. And again, this is not the future, this is the present. Everything that I'm talking about here, everything that I'm showing you here are available in the market since June 2025. So this is not something futuristic, this is reality. This is something that we have today. That's all from me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoy and got some valuable insights here, and see you